What if I told you that you don't need to be famous or have a big following to make money consistently? That there's a strategy on how you can create your business sustainably and authentically, but not everyone does it. I mean, let's be real. We see a lot of people do copy and paste models. There's a trend, everyone's following it. And I'm not even talking about trending on social media, but even trending on marketing or how to do business. So I talk about how you can make consistent income in your business your own way. I share my story, my mistakes, and lots of lessons learned. So shout out to Rise Credit Union for having me do this talk, which ended up being like a group coaching session for entrepreneurs earlier this week on Tuesday. And this is the exact replay on the talk. So let's drop the beat.
Hey, I'm Elaine Lucartas. I'm a business and career coach for women of color and allies. LA Weekly awarded me the #1 thought leader, and Apple News named me one of the top 5 business coaches. Done doing the most as a woman of color or ally, and you want to create your own definition of success and happiness? Well, grab your coffee, tea, or boba, and let's do some business and career real talk.
All right, it's my pleasure to introduce, and she's so excited, I can tell she was already ready. Elaine Lucartas is a trauma-informed and award-winning business coach and speaker for women of color and allies who has hundreds of 5-star client ratings and reviews. MSN recognized Elaine as a top business coach. Apple News awarded her as a top 5 business coach. And LA Weekly featured her as a #1 thought leader. Elaine has worked with over 10,000 clients in 58 different countries, helping to scale multiple 6, 7, and even 8-figure businesses. Elaine also coaches VPs in Fortune 500 companies and has online courses with LinkedIn, USC, Penn, Johns Hopkins, and Brown, to name a few. Most importantly, Elaine's clients have a life beyond their work, taking vacations and being present with their families and themselves. I'm happy to announce Elaine is going to take you over the next segment.
How much time do I have? Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay, so first off, how many of you like free? Free 99? I know, you're welcome. So I want to piggyback on both of my fellow speakers, Elizabeth and Claudia. So for those of you that want to create a business plan, write this down. New Women's Business Center, which is based in LA. They do 3 workshops to create a business plan, and they use a platform called LivePlan. So you just input all the information and then it spits it out, and it's free. You're welcome. I'm just so giving, right? So that's one resource. You have to do all 3 workshops to have access to that digital platform. So know that. Second is, as Claudia was talking about formations, SBDC LA. So look, you could just Google it. As Claudia was mentioning, sign up for the newsletter. There was actually a workshop for doing a formation for LLCs today at 3, but don't worry about it. If you missed it, there will be more. And then the Economic Development Collaborative, Google that. They also do free LLC workshops. So I've been in business for 7 years, and I have learned to be scrappy. And prior to that, I was a former fundraiser. So I worked at Pasadena City College, and in 6 months, we raised over $1.1 million for 557 scholarships. No matter where you feel about things in the political climate, I used to work in political campaigns, doing fundraising. I'm born and raised in California, but I have lived in Iowa, Indiana, Montana, New Mexico, and Massachusetts. And from $0 to raising $1 million, I was able to do that. And here's the huge difference with my beginning entrepreneurs versus more advanced. I am not an influencer. I don't have 1 million followers. I don't have a big name. Actually, I don't want to be famous. I want to walk down the street and get my Starbucks coffee. And I think that is the best life to have. And if you want to be famous, that's cool. But I think we have this idea of what we think we need to be like. But the reality is, how do you want to live your life? Like, I was doing projections, and my first 6 figures for next year comes from 5 B2B clients. That's $122K. you probably never heard of me before this event. I'm not a big name, but I just want to let you know it's possible for you. So during my session, I want to focus on coaching. I did read the survey, and that's a huge thing I want you to hear is feedback. So the feedback I got is, I know there will be networking afterwards, but I want you guys to get to know each other, and also you probably want a break from me now that it's been 2 minutes. So I would love for you to go into 2 to 3 groups, 2 to 3 people, and talk about 2 questions, and I'll put 2 big white papers. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to making money? And maybe you are already making money. Maybe it's how can I make more? And then the second question is, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to digital presence? So for the first 10 minutes, we're going to do that. The next 20 minutes, we'll do coaching. And I let people know I am not a motivational speaker. If you feel inspired, great, but I care about action plans. So the last 10 minutes, we'll do an action plan. So can you get together in 2 to 3? And if you are alone at a table, feel free to move over. And I have a timer, so I'll let you know countdown. In addition to that, when I put the Post-it papers, I have Post-it notes that I will hand out. If you could put what are your biggest challenges and then put it up on the pieces of papers, that will be great. Okay? Thank you. All right. Okay, because like I said, I'm Santa Claus and I want to give you presents. So the other present is I have a consistent customers workbook, so you could scan this QR code or it's here too. All you got to do is just put your name and email address. So I'm going to go straight coaching. All right, what are your challenges getting clients? Money, more marketing, access time, connecting with experienced team of specialists, time educating clients, turnover, society's expectations, lack of knowledge, price points, getting you by clients. Who wrote society's expectations? Please elaborate. That's really fascinating. I love that you said that.
Just how you said earlier, where you're not an influencer. I am not an influencer. Like you said, I just want to go to Starbucks to get my cup of coffee, not get like a paparazzi all over. I just want true love, for everybody to see how it is. So this is a protein that is added to your hair. It was prior to time usage, so protein is installed at your hair, and it helps it heal, grow out, leave it straight for 3 to 6 months, depending if you keep up aftercare. It is really professional, and you just keep up retouching that consistency.
Yeah.
So that's what I use. The expectations, I see that my competition out there overcharges, elaborates a little bit too much when it's not. Like they're giving it, you have to go to Paris to get it really well done. With the same thing you could get it here, you could get Canada.
So I'm curious, does anyone feel the same way with Guadalupe? Like, I was looking into this group. I was like, I awkwardly tried the TikTok dance, and unfortunately I didn't delete it, but it was so awkward for me because I was like, oh, everyone's doing it. I was like, why am I doing it this way? But anyone feel the same way? Like, I have to post 5 times a day.
Or you have to follow a trend.
Or follow a trend, The Voice. Okay, do you want to know how I raised like $1 million for each campaign that I did? It's actually not rocket science, but anyone, please show your excitement. Okay, I'm gonna tell you it's really simple, like really that's it, but I will also say there's a mindset block on it. So when I worked with elected officials and when I worked in the nonprofit sector and worked with board members, I'm gonna kind of date myself. Each one of them, I worked through their Rolodex. Does anyone know what a Rolodex is? What is a Rolodex?
It's a big round business card holder.
Before iPhones, it's like an address book, and if you don't know an address book, it's like looking through the names. But so in the fundraising world, we called it Rolodexing. We'd go through contacts A through Z, and we looked for 2 types of people. We looked for 1, who's a possible ideal client, or 2, who's the connector. And this is what every single client, whether they're an elected official, a nonprofit board member, or client tells me, I don't have a great network. Like, I'm going to challenge you. Listen to whatever music you want. Maybe it's Taylor Swift, maybe it's Beyonce for 90 minutes, and go through your contacts A through Z. And I got paid a ton of money sitting down with elected officials. Okay, who's John? Oh, he was my law school friend. I was like, oh, so does he know your dreams about running for ABC? Yeah. I'm like, oh, we're going to call him. What? Why? because your dream's happening. You're like winning now. So let's go call them. So go A through Z through your contacts, 2 people. Now you're not going to pitch. So in the nonprofit sector, wait, I think some of you are in the nonprofit sector. Raise your hand. Anyone? Yes. Okay. We spoke. Before we do campaigns, in terms of messaging and marketing, we have to connect with our stakeholders, our community members, and donors, and we ask them questions. We want to raise X amount, call it the impact campaign. So we met with our donors, what should we raise money on? Oh, the School of the Arts, Health Sciences. They literally told us what to raise money in, so then we could update the messaging in all of our brochures and websites. And because we're having the conversation before, and because we didn't have something perfect and we were involving them, they threw money at us. They're like, oh, you're doing a fundraising event for scholarships because my daughter actually passed away from cancer and she was an artist. I'm gonna give you $25,000. Because we started the conversation beforehand. When I became a career coach, I used my fundraising skills with A through Z, talked to people, and I asked these questions, and it's all in this QR code, but what are your biggest challenges in your career and business? What support have you tried? What didn't work? Why did you always come to me for advice? Secret, I became a career coach because I wasn't getting paid for it. People always came to me for advice. Like, wait, what if I just make this as advice? And then I would talk to my friends and my old interns, why did you always come to me for advice? Like, because you knew what to do. Like, oh, I'm thinking of creating a business. Oh, can you help me? So and the holidays are a perfect example. Who knows who to go to for tamales? But that's what I mean, that name comes to mind and you could use that simple concept when it comes to your business. The reason why I feel like a lot of people don't do it is because we see Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all this stuff. But if you want stats, 1% of your population sees that. I actually like doing email marketing. If people are gonna find me on social media, I try to get them. Little tip and hint, that's what I did with this QR code. I want to build a relationship with you after the event within the property that I own, which is email marketing. And actually a stat is 20% of people open your emails. So if I'm gonna choose 20% of emails as opposed to 1 to 2% on Instagram, I'm gonna choose the 20%. And it's different models. So let's say you have a low tier service or product. It is a numbers game, but I've just decided, you know what? I wanna be like an Ivy League and liberal arts school, where I work with a limited number of clients. Look, I'm tired. I don't want to work all the time. That's why I don't want to be a big name and I don't want to be famous. So I want to work with X number of clients that I want to work with. But I want to hear from you. What are you taking away from my coaching so far? Anyone want to share? What are they taking away for their business? Because I care about action. So actually, this is good. If all of your friends are coming to you for your problems, whether it's hair or yoga and meditation, what are constant patterns and themes you are hearing from them? What are words they're using? Because I think so often we think, oh, ChatGPT will tell me. But if literally people are telling you, you could use those words to market yourself. So majority of my business when I start, about 90% is referrals, and also know your numbers. 50% of my sales comes from Google SEO, and 40% from referrals and reviews. The reason why I decided to do Google SEO is because it's important to look at just some trends that are happening. People started telling me who are not referrals, I was looking for a woman of color coach. I'm like, interesting. These are people, not referrals. If people are using that keyword, why don't I title myself that? And then I titled myself that. By the way, Rise found me because they were looking for diversity, and guess what keywords they used? But what I'm trying to say is, listen to the feedback you're getting, and then how can you market and message that? And then I'm gonna go back to the notes here. Getting you right clients. I remember I was talking to this table about it. Do you want to elaborate on that? What do you mean by getting you right clients instead of everyone? Or this group? Okay, can you please share?
We were just sharing that not all your clients are going to be for you. Like you said, either you don't want to take on too many clients, or they're not the market that you want to serve. Maybe they're not going to pay you enough, or they're just not the clients that you want to work with.
How many clients have you gotten so far? Or are you starting right now? No, okay. So using the A through Z list, I would say put contacts and contact them. You're not trying to sell. You're gathering information. Like, hey, I'm wanting to create a service about this. I know you've come to me about it. I just want to gather information, right? And make sure there are people that if there is someone like them, you would want to work with them, if that makes sense. Like, so what do you sell? Or what do you want to sell? Or you're not sure? You're not sure yet? Actually, perfect. That's how I started. So I wanted to start my own business. What I did was like, I know I want to do some service. So I actually asked my friends, hey, I want to start my own business. I'm not saying I'm trying to sell to you, but what would you buy from me? And so I got actually, can you be a health and fitness coach because you lost 20 pounds? I'm like, no, because I enjoy working out, but I don't want to teach people. And then people are like, how about a career coach? I was like, that's interesting. So I would just ask people, but ask people you feel safe with. Because I also know in the beginning of your business, like, it's a very vulnerable topic. And I also know people will judge you, but I just want to remind you, those people that are judging you, that's them, not you. Because you're triggering them, and it's not your fault that you're triggering them. They're just triggered that they're not going after their dreams. What was resonating? Go ahead, Amber. Amber's a client of mine, but what was resonating?
When I first started my business, we have a lot of like self-doubt. We feel like, oh, maybe they're not my client, or things like, a lot of things go through your mind. But what I'm getting from this is quality over quantity, because when you first start a business, especially when you have a bad relationship or anything, you want to take every client, right? It's like, 1,000 here and 2,000 there. But that doesn't mean that goes the right way, because you end up spending more time and energy servicing clients that are not for you. So I love that we said that you're not here to be famous, you're not here to have a million clients, you're here to have maybe 6 or 7 core clients that are bringing you, consistent business.
And so because I have a high premium to charge, I think about, and this will transition to digital presence, how is my ideal client going to want to get the education? So I'm not going to dance on TikTok. I'm Filipino, but for some reason I do not have the dancing gene and I don't have the singing gene. So that's not my strength. But what I will say, so Sampas Close by Sampa is a Filipino-American modern restaurant. They're one of my former clients. They were former dancers. How they grew their business, and they've been featured in NBC, LA Times, they're growing rapidly. But how they grew their business is their dancing community. Dancers will tell other dancers, they do events, that's how they built it, and they love Instagram and TikTok, so that works well for them. For me, I have a premium service. I'm not cheap, I'm expensive. But how is that ideal client going to want to get education or learn more about me? It's through long form content. So I have a podcast so people get to know me. And I might sound like I'm bragging, but I know when I talk to people, they fall in love with me. So my podcast, 1, and then 2, I do emails. And in my emails, I put gifts so I make it fun and entertaining. So that's what works for me, but maybe you are a great dancer, and maybe Instagram or TikTok works really well for you. That's great. But what I'm trying to say is, what can you do that is enjoyable? So I'm going to read what are your challenges with digital presence? Getting prospective clients to engage with content, not enough knowledge, getting lost in social media, consistent content. Ooh, consistency. Not waiting to put my info on social media.
Legacy leader, I know what you're thinking. Elaine, you have such good stuff here. I want more. So if you want more tips and advice for your business, career, and life, sign up for my Gifts and Gifts newsletter at elainelu.com/join. That's JOIN. And here's 3 things you'll get when you join, because I'm like Santa Claus. I love giving. Number 1, funny gifts, because who doesn't love memes and pop culture references? This newsletter is so fetch. Number 2, receive actionable gifts. That's business, career, and life tips that you can start doing today. 3rd, the gift of me. Not only do you get my wins, but also my failures, my reflections. My Gifts and Gifts newsletter is like an up-to-date diary. Think Zanga or Life Journal for my fellow millennials, where I share vulnerable stories, relatable mistakes, and important life tips like what to watch on Netflix, like when's the next Bridgerton season. So if you're ready for those fun gifts and actionable gifts to create a more sustainable life, then join my newsletter at elainelu.com/join. That's JOIN. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Actually, who wrote the getting prospective clients to engage with content? Who wrote that one? Consistent content. There's two of you that wrote that. Anyone want to share what they meant with it? Yeah, what did you mean by that?
Marie, because my business is transitioning from just fashion to wellness, for rebranding, and so consistently sharing, well, what your updates are, what are you doing with the brand, how you're using it. That's why that also I'm fully for person because I don't have that much time to do. I know what I want to communicate, but I haven't necessarily been on a schedule, so I'm in planning stages.
Can I challenge you? Because this happened to me where I'm like, let me hire out. I don't want to do this. But actually it's because it gets easy to be in the rat race of I need to talk to more people, I need to make more money. But actually having the consistent time to look at where are my clients coming from? How are they getting content information? So in the QR code, I have a spreadsheet of keeping track of your current clients, ideal clients, and then even seeing where do they come from? How do they like getting information? Because you said a lot of your clients comes from referrals. Where are they coming from?
The fashion business was all referral.
Okay.
Right now, it's half and half for the Uli meditation services. It is partially a referral. The others are the people that I meet in person and the different places like this that they teach. So it's kind of half and half.
So knowing that it's referrals and then coming from relationship building, one is what you talked about earlier. What are the words and patterns you're hearing people use? Because that could be your messaging. Second is as you're having conversations with people, you could casually ask, hey, if I were to educate or provide marketing, where would you get information? Do you do Instagram, email? You could ask them. But what feels good to you? It's not just asking, but what feels good to you intuitively on how you want to create content.
I think asking is good. I think I get a lot of feedback without asking. So I think just listening to some of the feedback and then being directed, I was doing direct about it, probably would be good.
I will say, so I had a model that worked really well for me to get clients. I used to do free monthly events, and I had the whole model down. I had a really good turnout rate, about 70%. Usually it's a 25 to 50% show up rate for events. So I would have about 70 people sign up, 50 people would show up to my events, and I would convert about 5 clients per event. So that was consistent. I was young, though, I will say that. And that also burnt me out. And I'm sharing this because you probably feel this way where it's like, I don't like this model anymore. It used to bring me joy. Yeah, it changes. Like, I'm in just this different era. So I'm like, how am I going to change this? And I had to come from a place of curiosity. What did people like at my events? They liked the coaching, the interaction. How can I do it in a way that feels energetic to me and kind of similar? And that's what made me decide to do podcasting, because it was the same type of energy that I liked. But I see nods. What's coming up for you in terms of what you possibly want to explore in your business? Anyone want to share? I saw you nodding, so I'm going to...
It's just the way that you spoke to, find what works for you. I think that's kind of flipping it for me in my mind. I would always making it about the customer and their needs. You're saying find what motivates you and find what feels good to you. Start from there.
And also, I don't have a YouTube for my podcast. I don't want to do the whole video thing. I'm in my PJs with my hair bun and no camera because no, I don't want... I tried tonight, okay, because I was going to see you in person. I put heels on. You are welcome. I'm Filipino. Usually it's socks, but I tried tonight. But do what feels good to you. And also another thing, what I read in the Post-it notes, there's 2 words, consistency. So it's really hard, but be unattached that it has to work and come from a place of curiosity. So if you're going to be consistent, if it is podcasting or if it is an email, then I suggest, what's your consistency? Is that doing an email once a week? Okay, do an email once a week. And then after, I always like doing 90 days, test trial it for 90 days and see what works and track it. So I have a whole spreadsheet on it. I have a marketing tracker where it's I look at the open rates for my emails, but that's vanity metrics. It's similar to followers. The more important metric when it comes to email marketing is the click rate. How many people are opening the click rate? So I talk about followers. I have a 7-figure business and I have, 4,000 followers on Instagram. I think I get maybe 5 likes and 5 comments. But most of my content that's popular on Instagram is my Muay Thai because I do Thai kickboxing, and that has nothing to do with business. And so here's how I've translated Instagram. It's my reality television show. I take a picture of my Starbucks coffee. That's it. But I don't think I'm a big deal. And this is very millennial of me, how I treat my emails, because actually, who had Zanga or LiveJournal back in the day? Anyone? Zanga, LiveJournal? Thank you, Sabrina. It was like blogging back in the day, like, let me tell you about my high school crush, or like, life is over because teenage hormones. Like, I loved blogging. This is the same era as MySpace. So because of that, I write my emails in that way. I'm like, I'm failing in life because I didn't watch Wicked. Like, I make it personal. And also with emails with open rates, this is why I know I love emails, because I'm creative with it. So this subject line had the highest subject line, where it said, I had dinner with my ex. Now my email list of 1,000 people opened that because they are nosy. And in that email I said, I had dinner with my ex-boss. And people, I wanted to know the drama. But I have a really great relationship with my ex-boss, because she helped mentor me with my own business and just seeing her leadership at Pasadena City College. But that's how I knew I wanted to do email marketing, because it excites me. But even like Instagram, when I posted, like trying to post about this, I just didn't want to. So I want to do about 5 minutes where you're in the same group, and I want you to think of one action, because I'm not a motivational speaker. I care about action. What is one action you could do? And I'm going to give you some options. It could be, I'm going to look through my Rolodex and listen to Beyonce for 90 minutes, A through Z, and 2 contacts. I'm going to look at people that I could talk to ask for feedback. And there's questions in this QR code, the workbook I made. Maybe it's 2, you know what? There's 3 people in my mind. I want to reach out to them. I'm just curious, you know what? You really like that I do yoga. Like, how would you want to get information from me? I'm thinking Instagram, TikTok, what is it? Or what's the topics you want to learn from me? Or if you're starting a business, I just want to have my own thing. What would you pay me for? But remember, you have that choice. So that's a second. And then third is, what is your consistent plan? Maybe you do want to do emails once a week for 3 months. It doesn't have to be once a week. I have clients to do it once a month. Or maybe it is trying podcasting for 3 months. What is it? And it's coming from a place of curiosity. So 5 minutes, if you could talk to the same group of like, what is your one action item? So we're going to do 5 minutes because I care about actions. If I could have 1 or 2 people in each table share, what is your action item? Your aligned action item, because it needs to feel aligned to you. And then what's your takeaway? So I'm going to start at this table only because Amber's here and you're my client. What's your one action item?
Go through a list of all my industry contacts.
Okay, what time and what day?
Well, today is Wednesday. Friday morning at 9 a.m.
Okay, Friday at 9. And what music are you going to listen to so it's enjoyable?
I'm listening to R&B.
R&B, okay. So Amber's been a client of mine for like 6 months, but when I work with my clients, I'm like, do you want tiger mama mode or do you want like nurturing mom mode? And I just tiger mamaed her. Okay, anyone else that wants to share at this table their aligned action item and takeaway?
Same thing. I have people that I'm thinking of that I'm just going to ask them, if you had to pay for a service, what did you think?
What are the 3 names that come to mind?
You
You could say their first names.
Ralph, Daniel, and Diane.
Ralph, Daniel, Diane. Little tip when you message people to reach out to them or follow up or anything, do it like 8:30, 8:45 before it hits 9. You want to do it right before the day starts, and this is a fundraising tip, because when you get them at the end of the day, they're not going to pay attention. They're putting out fires. And Tuesday, Wednesday is a good time, because Monday, as you know, we had Sunday scaries, and we're recovering from it. Also, if you have I don't know about like Teams, but if you have Gmail, you could schedule the emails and do it according to their time zone. So if it's New York, you send that out at 5. A little tip, don't make it so obvious you scheduled it, so I do like 5:47. And then what my boyfriend does, which is fun, he does area codes. So he does like 818, 805. He's like, what area code am I feeling at this time? I don't know, just a tip. Okay, one of you, what's your aligned action item?
Oh, I recently free 10% off my meditation.
Yeah. And you keep it open-ended and ask like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. What are your thoughts? Or even asking, if you want me to delve in deeper, what would it be? So you can ask. I will say I do target market research. I check in with my clients and ask for feedback once every 6 months. And when I do that, I figure out how to improve my services so I could increase my pricing for new clients. And then I get renewals because I'm about making money. All right. One or two of you that want to share a light action item or takeaway?
Okay, I'll share my, I would like to reach out to the Rolodex, reach out to some other contacts that I made in the past and see if I could get some funding to do my free event because I want to do the self-awareness workshop and I want to offer some of the activities I had in mind was like paint therapy, sound building, yoga, meditation, journaling. So I talked to people in the past about this idea and they sounded very enthusiastic about it and just told me it's such a good idea. So I would like to reach out to some of those people and see if I could get the funding just to do the first free event and just invite people out too.
I could just want to challenge you. Maybe it's not even funding, maybe it's using the venue space for free. Like maybe they have a friend or a cousin that has a space. Don't think it always has to be like, how can I get funding? Do you know a space? Maybe you have a cousin that has a candle shop. I don't know, I'm making stuff up. Can you introduce me? So I have a former client who does Reiki and she does workshops and events. And because she does Reiki, she has relationships with different people. And be okay making new relationships. Like if you buy candles from a certain place, like, hey, who's your owner? I want to get to know them. You just never know. Anyone else want to share here what your action item is?
I put in to change my mindset, having a day, an hour, 30 minutes to a hour, that changed my mindset.
I would also say the 90 minutes to learn doesn't have to be about business. Like I've been on and off doing Muay Thai for 21 years.
I was not saying like the business-wise, it's both.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, it all connects. Because she was a earthback.
It does.
All together connect. So just she to that mindset and creating that connection with everything.
Yeah.
To evolve into a better business.
That reminds me of like the lesson I learned beginning of the year. So I do Muay Thai, which is Thai kickboxing. It's the art of 8 limbs. And my coach, he was just like, I know not all of you are going to be professional fighters, but you're wearing my shirt, you're at my gym, you go to 24-hour fitness, you're working at the boxing bag, and your style is shit. That's my name on the line. So I'm going to teach you the right technique because my name's on the line. And I needed to hear that because I needed to end 2 partnerships. After he said that and gave me that lesson, and it was just boxing, I ended 2 partnerships because it was so draining. So that's another thing, whether it's customers, collaborations, people you connect with, how do you feel energetically? Because it's also not about the money. Sometimes you have to end a contract. So that is my coaching. If you need more support, feel free to reach out. But I gave you this present. It has all the questions on how to roll decks and how to look at patterns with ideal clients so you get more of it. So thank you.
So an update. After the event, I actually got a request to work with an organization. Actually, I got a couple of requests, but one organization in particular, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be a possible 6-figure project. That means I'm up to possibly 200K in contracts already for the new year. And I don't have a big following. I'm not posting all the time. I'm focused on creating my business my own way, which is building relationships, improving my client service for the best results, and working with at maximum 24 clients at one time. Remember, you get to define your own definition of success and happiness when it comes to your business and, more importantly, your life. And for me, that's me not doing the most. That's why I only do 2 podcast episodes a month. I was like on vacation last month where I only did 1. So if you enjoyed this episode, here's 4 things you could do if you feel called to do them. 1, if you could leave a 5-star rating review, that would mean a lot to me. My team and I created this podcast for accessible education for women of color and allies. Each episode takes about 4 hours to create, takes me 1 hour to prep, and another 30 minutes to 1 hour to record. Then my team spends another 2 hours to edit and market. 2, because I care about accessible education, share this with a friend who's struggling on getting consistent income. 3, do not forget to hit that follow button and subscribe. When you hit that button, it allows the podcast platform you're listening to know how important this podcast is to women of color and allies like you. And 4th, if you need support in your career or business and you're interested in working with me, then schedule an introductory business and career review call with me. I only bring in 2 to 4 new clients each month to ensure each client receives the results they deserve. And you can schedule that call at elainelou.com/call. That's ELAINELOU.com/call.